Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My presentation here is about the assessing vulnerability of a map of tsunami in Banda Island of Central Maluku. The background of the research is in the record of the tsunami catalog, Banda Aceh experienced about 20 destructive earthquakes that caused 285 deaths. This destructive earthquake have a return period about 9 to 10 years. In the records of Wichmann, between 1600 and 1877, there were at least 600 major and minor earthquakes and 21 documented tsunami in the southern Banda Sea region, namely on the island of Banda, Ambon, Haruku, Saparua, Seram, and Timur. This research aims to determine the distribution of potential tsunami vulnerability in the Banda Island based on past tsunami history to determine the run-up used to delineate tsunami-prone areas. The magnitude of vulnerability is determined by the exposure and sensitivity of the area to tsunami disaster. About physical characters of the island and tsunami, the Banda Island are a group of islands in the middle of the Banda Sea with at least 11 islands. Its geographical position and geological situation also hold potential disaster, especially tsunami. One of the major tsunami events recorded in the catalog is the Banda Island tsunami on August 1, 1629, which caused heavy damage due to tsunami wave as high as 15 meters, which occurred half an hour after the earthquake shaking stopped. Methodology. We use exposure and sensitivity as a parameter of vulnerability. The condition of exposure and sensitivity to tsunami is mapped based on the analysis of a combination of parameters, such as topographic, elevation, slope, distance from the coastline, and the presence of dwelling or settlement. In terms of tsunami impact, the two components of sensitivity examined in the study are building quality and population density. The lower quality building, the more sensitive the area to tsunami impact. Denser habitation may reflect the population density. The denser the population in settlement, the more sensitive coastal area is to tsunami impact. In the research, building quality is divided into two, namely poor quality and with a semi-permanent building, and a good quality for the permanent buildings. For the data, topographic elevation and slope data were obtained from digital elevation model or dam extraction from the DAMNAS 2711-24 version 1 of the Banda Island region. Distance from the coastline was measured by buffering in GIS software, while tsunami was extracted from the catalog of tsunami, which is 8.2, 15, and 40 meters above sea level. The presence of settlement was delineated from the December Our presentation consists of 4 points. The first is about the tsunami exposure. Second is tsunami sensitivity. 3, government effort on mitigation, and 4 about the advices. Tsunami exposure is obtained by extrapolating tsunami run-up database on the past tsunami event. Identification of settlement is carried out for each building to obtain an overview of the level of population density, while the tsunami sensitivity increases when residential buildings are low quality. And about the government effort on mitigation, we think that mitigation was applied by first, build tsunami early warning, 2, allocation of government budget for emergency action against natural disaster, and 3, defining temporary evacuation shelter. And we also give the advice to the government. Tsunami exposure in Banda Island due to the flat beach where the settlement is centered, Lontar Village has a higher vulnerability. Even more, the distance between houses is quite tight and directly on the coastline. Other villages on the north coast of Banda Besar Island have narrow plain directly adjacent to the steep slope of the mountain behind them that make it easy to evacuate. Nera Island, particularly in Dwi Warna village and Kampung Baru village, fall into vulnerable zone because the layout in Dwi Warna dates back to the colonial era and is preserved to this day. The coastal area is mostly used as a tourist area. Even the Associated Harmony Performance Hall and Restaurant is located right facing the sea next to the VOC office palace. In contrast, Kampung Baru, as its name suggested, is a village or a country that emerged later on the open coast, which has now been secured with wave-retaining embankment along the coast. Here is the map of exposure. We can see that here is Dwi Warna, and this side is Kampung Baru. This opposite of the Dwi Warna is Lontor, Bayu, and Selamon here. And the sensitivity defining by the condition of settlement and the building, we can see here that Kampung Baru is the most vulnerable zone because beside the building, very close to the coastline, and also the quality building is not so good as the Dwi Warna building. And Lontoria, with a flat coastal, the settlement set around this coastline. And the third government effort on mitigation was applied by build tsunami early warning. This is a tsunami early warning. And the second is allocation of government budget for emergency action against natural disaster. So every village has to allocate that budget for the first is emergency action, and the second is for food security. And the third, defining or determine temporary evacuation shelter. Government awareness on the tsunami is implemented their policies. In example, build tsunami early warning system in the public area. In regional budget, there are two allocations for the mitigation action: emergency budget for the natural and non-natural disaster, and budget on food security. Our advice is, first, hard structure modification should be applied. In example, with embankment from the settlement, manage habitation structure and pattern, and 2, determine more evacuation route and shelter. Third, dissemination for community awareness and consciousness against tsunami drill for the community. And the last is disaster mitigation based on the development planning. Okay, this is my presentation. Thank you so much for your participation and your and your attention. Okay? Thank you.